What if Ash had Charizard X from the beginning? Now, you guys voted for this on my newest community post, so if you guys want to vote for my next video, make sure to go over there and check it out. But anyway, let's get right into the timeline. So the Indigo League, which is Kanto, basically stays exactly the same. I'm probably not going to go over Charmander's whole story again, because if you guys want to see the complete story of Charmander and all of Ash's ace Pokemon, you can go watch my other video where I covered every single one of them. So everything in Kanto stays exactly the same. Ash catches Charmander, it eventually evolves all the way into Charizard, and Charizard still refuses to listen to Ash. Because of that, Ash still loses the Indigo League, just like in the original timeline. Now, moving into the Orange Islands, everything also stays the same. Charizard finally starts respecting Ash after everything they went through together, so he begins listening to his command. Ash still wins the Orange League, and honestly, nothing really changes here. Now, I know I'm moving through these regions pretty quickly, but that's because nothing actually changes until much later in the story. Now we get to Johto. This is where the timeline finally starts changing. In the original anime, Ash leaves Charizard at the Chariscific Valley so it can continue training with stronger Charizard. But in this timeline, that never happens. Instead, Ash tells Charizard, we're gonna get stronger together. So instead of separating, Charizard stays with Ash throughout the rest of his journey. Because of that, Charizard becomes Ash's true ace much earlier than in the original timeline. Ash still rotates him in and out of the team because he wants Bayleef, Cyndaquil, Totodile, and the rest of his Johto Pokemon to get stronger, but Charizard is constantly training alongside Ash instead of spending years away at the Chariscific Valley. After Johto, Hoenn, the Battle Frontier, and Sinnoh all play out almost exactly the same as the original timeline. Since Charizard never left for the Chariscific Valley, he stays with Ash throughout every region. However, Ash rarely uses him because Charizard has become far stronger than the rest of his team. Instead, Ash focuses on raising his newer Pokemon while Charizard continues training in the background. Now, Unova is a little bit different because it was basically a soft reset for Ash in the original series. Since Charizard is already with him, there isn't any big return like there was in canon. He remains part of Ash's roster the entire time, but Ash still chooses to build up his Unova team instead of relying on his strongest Pokemon. And after Unova, we finally reach the XY series. Now we finally reach Kalos, and honestly, the XY series plays out almost exactly the same at first. Ash still catches Froakie, Talonflame, Hawlucha, Goodra, and Noibat, which later evolves into Noivern. Everything through the XY series happens just like the original timeline. The biggest difference is that Charizard is still with Ash. Since Ash doesn't catch many Pokemon in Kalos, whenever Goodra leaves the team for a while, or Ash needs another powerful battler, Charizard fills that spot. Then we move into Pokemon XYZ. Ash still unlocks the Ash Greninja transformation, and everything with the Bond phenomenon begins exactly like it did in the anime. Around this time, Ash starts battling stronger and stronger trainers, and he notices one thing: almost every top trainer has Mega Evolution. Alan has Mega Charizard X, Diantha has Mega Gardevoir, Sawyer eventually unlocks Mega Sceptile, then Ash battles Sawyer and loses. That loss changes everything. Ash realizes that if he wants to win the Kalos League, he needs another answer besides Ash Greninja. So he officially adds Charizard back onto his main Kalos team and begins training for Mega Evolution while still trying to master the Bond phenomenon with Greninja. But trying to master two incredible powers at the same time starts hurting Ash. He spends so much time focusing on Mega Evolution that his connection with Greninja begins slipping. Then comes the Snowbell Gym. Just like in the original timeline, Ash still loses to Wolfric, not because Ash Greninja is weak, but because Ash once again loses sight of what made Greninja so strong in the first place. After that loss, Ash finally understands that Mega Evolution isn't supposed to replace Ash Greninja. The two powers are meant to fight together. From that point on, Ash splits his training between both Pokemon. Charizard continues mastering Mega Evolution while Greninja fully masters the Bond phenomenon. By the time the Kalos League begins, Ash has two champion level aces, a fully mastered Ash Greninja and Mega Charizard X. The Kalos League finally begins, and Ash starts making his way through the tournament just like in the original timeline. Most of the early battles stay the same, with Ash winning comfortably. When the semifinals arrive against Sawyer, one big change happens. Goodra returns to Ash's team. Instead of bringing Noivern, Ash decides to use Goodra because it's the more experienced Pokemon at this point in the series. Noivern has a ton of potential, so for the semifinals, Ash's team becomes Pikachu, Talonflame, Hawlucha, Goodra, Greninja, Charizard. The battle against Sawyer plays out similarly until the very end. Sawyer's final Pokemon is still Mega Sceptile. But this time, Ash doesn't send out Greninja. He sends out Mega Charizard X. Because of Charizard's fire typing, Mega Sceptile is at a huge disadvantage. Even though Sawyer battles incredibly well, Charizard's experience are simply too much to overcome. After a hard-fought battle, Mega Charizard X defeats Mega Sceptile, sending Ash to the Kalos League Finals. Now comes the battle everyone has been waiting for, Ash versus Alola. The battle is even more intense than in the original timeline. Both trainers trade knockouts until everything comes down to the final moments. This time, however, Ash has one extra Pokemon remaining, Mega Charizard X, because Charizard had just finished battling Alana's other Pokemon. It's already exhausted from the previous match. Even so, Ash sends it out first against Alana's Mega Charizard X. The two Mega Charizard clash in an incredible battle. Ash's Charizard pushes Alana's Charizard to its limit, dealing massive damage before finally being knocked out. Now the stage is set. Ash sends out Greninja. The bond phenomenon activates. Ash Greninja faces an already weakened Mega Charizard X. Even after taking so much damage, Alana's Charizard refuses to go down, making it one last incredible battle between the two aces. In the final clash, Ash Greninja creates its giant golden water shuriken and charges straight through Charizard's attack. The attack connects, Mega Charizard X finally falls, the referee raises Ash's flag, Ash has finally defeated Alana, he becomes the Kalos champion. After winning the Kalos League, everything else plays out exactly like the original timeline. Ash still helps stop Team Flare, Greninja still helps save Kalos, and after everything is over, Ash decides it's finally time to head to Alola. Now Alola honestly doesn't change that much. Just like every new region, Ash leaves most of his old team behind and starts building a brand new one. Charizard stays back at Professor Oak's lab while Ash catches Rowlet, Lycanroc, Torracat, Melmetal, and Naganadel. Because this is mainly a Charizard timeline, there really isn't much reason for Ash to bring him to Alola. Ash still wins the Alola League just like he did in the original timeline, so nothing major changes there. Then we move into Journeys. Ash joins the World Coronation Series and begins climbing through the rankings exactly like in the anime. He still catches Dragonite, Gengar, Lucario, Sirfetch'd, and Dracovish, and most of the tournament plays out the same. But when Ash qualifies for the Masters 8, he knows he'll be battling the strongest trainers in the entire world. So before the tournament begins, Ash makes one big decision. He calls Charizard back onto the team. After traveling with Ash ever since Kanto and mastering Mega Charizard X and Kalos, Charizard is finally returning for one last tournament. Now everything in Journeys plays out exactly like the original timeline. Ash still climbs through the World Coronation Series, still defeats Steven, still defeats Cynthia, and still earns his spot in the World Championship Finals against Leon. The only thing that changes is his team. His final team becomes Pikachu, Lucario, Mega Charizard X, Dragonite, Gengar, Sirfetch'd. That also changes Ash's 3 gimmicks. Instead of Gigantamax Gengar, he now has Mega Charizard X, Mega Lucario Pikachu's 10 million volt Thunderbolt. The battle against Leon is just as intense as it was in the anime. Mega Charizard X immediately proves why Ash brought it back by defeating Leon's Rillaboom, one of the strongest Pokemon on Leon's entire team. After that, Leon sends out his ace, Gigantamax Charizard. Mega Charizard X pushes Leon's Charizard to its absolute limit. The battle is incredibly close, but after taking heavy damage from Rillaboom earlier in the match, Ash's Charizard is finally defeated. Even so, it weakens Leon's Charizard more than any Pokemon had before. That sets up the exact ending Ash was hoping for. Pikachu steps onto the battlefield just like in the original timeline. The final battle becomes Pikachu versus Leon's Charizard. After one last incredible clash, Pikachu defeats Charizard and the referee raises Ash's flag. Ash finally becomes the world champion. Hope you guys really liked this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to click on the video on your screen right now because it's one of my favorite videos I've ever made.